The Harley Davidson decline was inevitable. Watch this video. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. So, the Harley Davidson decline, it was inevitable. I've been saying this for quite a few years now in terms of my thoughts on their strategy and how the company was going in terms of their pressure on dealerships or their relationship with dealerships, their relationship with customers, their pricing, the types of motorcycles they were producing. And this is all from a Harley Davidson fan, by the way, because I do ride a Harley Davidson and I have ridden for a few years. And even before then, I was actually a fan of the brand. But there were problems that I could see, and maybe other people could see it as well, and maybe some people wanted to admit they were there or not. Now, over the last few years, we have seen a decline in sales and profits from Harley Davidson, and sometimes the profits go up inexplicably and sometimes they go down, but all the while their motorcycle sales keep on going down. So they've just released their latest third quarter results, and it's depressing reading if you're into this kind of stuff. Now, I read quite a few market analysis papers, and I look at different points of view from obviously different observers, and the overwhelming impression is that it hasn't gone very well for Harley Davidson. Well, you don't need to be a rocket scientist or a market analyst for that. I mean, basically, the sales have gone down, the prices are high, they're not really in tune with the marketplace that is out there right now. So what does this mean for the future? Well, unless they do something drastic, unless they change what they're doing in terms of motorcycles produced and the prices which they're charging them, then it can only get worse. It's inevitable. Now, what's been saving Harley Davidson in recent years in terms of profit margin is the way that other business areas have been performing in terms of their financial services, in terms of the way they sell their branding charges, that kind of thing, their licensing agreements. But the problem is this time, those sales or those profit margins have come down as well. Now, we're talking in some cases about 30 to 40% decline of this time last year. That's a massive decline. That is a huge drop for a company like Harley Davidson. So why am I making this video? The reason is that I always like to compare different manufacturers, not necessarily of the same product, but in terms of the same space or the same company size and what they're doing in terms of reacting to the market or trying to provide for an evolving market. What we're seeing in the motorcycle market right now are motorcycles that are being produced or being pushed into the marketplace at around the $10,000 to $12,000 shekel mark. Triumph are doing it. The Japanese brands are doing it. BMW are trying to get into that kind of area. It's almost like a sweet spot. KTM are doing it as well. They're trying to push motorcycles, granted, that are lower CC, into that 10,000 or sub 10,000 price bracket. And for me, that's where the sweet spot is. Because if you're buying motorcycles that are a lot more expensive than that, then your value comes down in terms of your value for money. So what we're seeing right now, manufacturers are producing 800, 900 cc motorcycles in the region of about 10 to 12,000 dollars shekels. This is great value for money. And we're talking about different styles, of course, and it's not the Harley Davidson style, and I get all that. But when we're talking about a riding experience, when we're talking about somebody who's going to hand over their hard-earned money in difficult times and they want to produce a motorcycle that performs, got great performance, looks pretty good as well, and does exactly what it says on the tin, and whilst manufacturers all have their issues, there's no doubt, you can't say that one motorcycle is beyond reproach and there's nothing ever wrong with those motorcycles. No, every motorcycle manufacturer, every manufacturer in the world has issues, but there are some that seem to know where the market is going and they seem to be able to react to it and provide motorcycles or products in general that are good value for money. Harley Davidson are not. They are not doing it. They haven't been doing this for a number of years. All the while, they've been pushing these high prices and premium products. And whilst, yes, in some cases, let's say last year with the Street Glide and Road Glide, they were offering those lower than the previous years in terms of base models. But we're still talking over 20, 25,000, 30,000 for those kinds of motorcycles. These are not cheap modes of transport anymore. And the kinds of people who are buying those motorcycles Well, one, they're suffering from fashion lethargy. In other words, they've gone on to other things as well. Maybe they're not into motorcycles anymore. But also, their disposable income is really based on the economy. And if there's a downturn in the economy, they're going to tighten those purse strings really, really quickly. So the customer base with bigger wallets are now not able to buy those motorcycles anymore. Therefore, you've got a big decline in expensive motorcycle sales. That's not to say that they're still not selling products. Of course they are. This is Harley Davidson, of course. But there is a decline, and there is a huge decline now. We've been seeing it all year, and basically we've been seeing it for the last few years. And I remember a few years ago, I was making videos, and I was kind of predicting this and saying, look, Harley Davidson, they're in trouble. They're going to be in trouble in the next few years. Watch this space. And people get into the comments and start railing on me and start saying I'm just a hater. I had other YouTubers saying that I was just a hater. I had other Harley Davidson fans or YouTubers say, oh, he's just a hater. Well, no, I'm just a realist. And I could just see where the market is going. Now, of course, this is not the end of Harley Davidson. I've never said that. But there is a marked decline now. So is their strategy working? Is this hardwire, rewire thing that they're doing, is it working? Now, for me, it isn't. It isn't working because they're failing to produce the kinds of motorcycles that people want. They're only producing the motorcycles that people may aspire to. But if the people haven't got the money to fulfill or realize that aspiration, well, therefore, you've got a dead product there. Nobody's buying it. As I say right at the start of this video, Harley Davidson's decline has been inevitable. It's been inevitable for a number of years. And it's been that way because they haven't been willing to change. I thought a few years ago when Harley Davidson released the Revolution Max Engine bikes, I thought, okay, we're going to start to see something now. We're going to start to see a shift in the way Harley Davidson produce motorcycles and a different price point as well, and attract a different kind of customer. They'd also cater to the old salts who still want the higher price motorcycles, but they'd attract the new ones. But they haven't done that. In fact, they've produced motorcycles that have been pretty lame, apart from the Pan America, which I thought was pretty good. The Nicer Special, yet decent motorcycles on the surface, but not the prices at which they're charging. And the Sportster S, yes, it might be a fine motorcycle to ride, and people may like or not like the looks of it, but they're not big sellers. Now Pan Americas aren't selling in numbers like they were, and most of those are being returned as well, or certainly the early ones were. So there's a glut of used Pan Americas on the market as well. The Revolution Max experiment hasn't worked. It's been rejected by the old salts, by the traditionalists, and it hasn't captured the imagination of the new motorcycle riders as well. Where are the new motorcycle riders? Well, they're certainly not buying Harley Davidsons in droves. They're either buying cheap motorcycles, really expensive modes of transport, or they're not even getting into motorcycles at all. Harley Davidson have totally misread the market. They've totally misread where the market is moving to. Whereas other motorcycle manufacturers, they've started to react. They know what is going. They think, okay, we need to move away from the high-priced motorcycles only, but we need to sell cheaper motorcycles as well. Triumph are probably the best example of a manufacturer who've reacted and started producing 400cc motorcycles. Can Harley Davidson turn this around? They can, but it requires a drastic change in their thinking. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, well, just keep on watching the videos and I'll catch you again. Bye now.